Hello everyone, today I'm going to discuss my research topic on how Christian pacifists have impacted American culture. Now in my paper, I define a Christian pacifist as someone who is against war due to their beliefs and ideologies gathered from the Bible. There are four main denominations that practice pacifism. That includes the Amish, Quakers, Shakers, and the Mennonites. Now, where they get their pacifistic ideologies is from the Bible. And throughout the Bible, there's 7 different themes that promote pacifism. The first theme is that you can't serve 2 kingdoms. You have to kind of choose between your nation or your God. The second theme is that those who kill by the sword will die by the sword. The third one is a heavy focus on community building over war. And we still kind of see that today with the Amish communities in Pennsylvania and other states. The fourth theme is to be peacemakers throughout your community and your world. The fifth one is that the Lord's greatest works weren't even done by violence. So, for example, creation and Noah's Ark, they were not done through violence. The sixth theme in the Bible is that nothing good comes from war. And then the seventh one, which is kind of the most obvious one, is from the 10 Commandments, and it flat out says, "Thou shalt not kill." Now, with these ideologies in mind, Christian pacifists still impacted the American culture, although that they were harassed by other Americans throughout the process. And they impacted American culture in 2 main ways. There's the political impact as well as the social impact. Politically, they influenced political leaders. For example, William Jennings Bryan convinced Woodrow Wilson to delay joining World War I. Or so it says in Steve Bios's article, which is pretty interesting. If that is true, then Christian pacifists saved 3 years worth of people dying from the war. So that's pretty remarkable. The second way that they influenced American culture politically is that they actually influenced the military. So the Mennonites and other denominations really were patriotic. They wanted to serve their nation, but they didn't want to through war. And over time, the military saw that. And so the military actually came up with some non-combative ways in which they could serve their nation without bearing arms. And there's more about that in Peterson's article. The third way that they impacted American culture politically is just their methods. They were very knowledgeable about their Bible. They were very knowledgeable about their nation and their constitution. And they were able to integrate that knowledge to kind of promote their ideologies. In their letters, petitions, they even became friends with other political heads. And just their methods of change really impacted the American culture. Now, they also impacted American culture in a social aspect, and that includes education, women's rights, and civil rights. Now, there's this interesting article that I read that describes how Martin Luther King Jr., a Christian, was influenced by Gandhi, a pacifist. Now, Gandhi is not a Christian pacifist. However, the Christian pacifists of America did consider MLK their Black Gandhi per se. Now, what I realized throughout my research is that these Christian pacifists were smart. They knew their history, they knew their Bible, they were strong, they stuck to their beliefs even when harassed. There's actually not a lot of research out there. And then most pacifist articles were written after wars, and especially after the War of 1812. I hope you guys enjoyed your research as much as I enjoyed mine.